So today we will continue with the restoration process, and we will replace the capacitors in one of these soundboards. It's pretty easy for this board here in the front. This is a module controller board to control the 4 soundboards here in the back. And this one is already recapped. I make it off camera because it's also obvious how it works. So nothing special to tell about it. Just replace the capacitors you see there, and we will continue with this third soundboard. So for that you just need to unscrew the 2 screws here for the soundboard. So all you need to do is remove the screws, then simply push it out of the board, but really gently, because we don't want to break something, and I'm not sure why, but this here is sticky. Just go underneath like that, and that's it. We already have it almost. Really careful. We don't want to break something, because it makes it really hard after. Okay, so there is this something sticky there. Yeah, and here we have the board. Oops. This was my screws here. So yeah, and there are not too much to change here. We have here one of these in the front, and there's no more. But in the back I have here 2 capacitors, and we want to change also this capacitors here, the electrolyte capacitors. And when we check under a magnifying glass, you will see, here you can see it already, this green corrosion underneath. This capacitor is already leaking. So sure, we have to change it. And here on this one I cannot see. I have to check it under the magnifying glass. By the way, this board has the really rare early version BA662 operational amplifiers here, and I have on this board 8 of them. This is one of the revisions. This is really early version and really rare BA662 amplifiers on it. So let's go to our bench and change the capacitors on this soundboard. So we are back here on my workbench. And this is here the board. And before we begin, I want to mention, please use your grounding. Ground yourself, otherwise you will damage the components on this board. Good, then we just turn on our soldering iron, and let's start. Let's start with the front here. I want to remove this one. So what is also interesting, that you can see here all the the solder residues, solder flux during the manufacturing of this board. Everywhere you can see here the solder flux. After we recap it, we will clean it, and it will be really better than what you see here. So let me simply start to desolder this, and I want to show you how you can desolder. You can use a desoldering gun, but I don't want to use a desoldering gun here, and the reason for that is because the pads are really fragile, and I use here my desoldering iron. I set the desoldering iron to 280 degrees, because if you get it too hot here, you damage the traces, and that's why let's try with 280 degrees to desolder it. So now we are ready. So actually you just need to use a solder sucker like this one here, and then gently, don't push, and that was the first one here. You can see the solder is out, and it's almost free, the leg. Let's do the same with the other one. I don't want to damage any component in the other side, so please be really careful. Take your time, not go too fast, because if you go too fast you will damage something. Take your time and make it slowly, gently, but make it good. So here again, and you see, you don't need a soldering gun here. And look, now it's really easy to take it out like that. And look, I don't know if you can see it from this angle. You see the corrosion here? So this capacitor is already leaking. So it says it's 10 microfarads. Let's see how we have here. Let's check it with my tester. You just need to go here with the legs and push the button, and it will say damage or unknown part. But let me redo it here. Maybe, I don't know, I don't have good connection maybe, and make it again. And you see, this one is damage. Indeed. So if he found maybe or a defective part. No, now maybe it was a mismeasuring, but it says 11.5 microfarads with an ESR of 2 ohms. So basically what I found out is that all the parts are nearly 20% off of the original capacitance value. Anyway, we will change this one with a new one because it's already leaking. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, this is worn out. So I need now let me check again. 10 microfarads, 16 volts. And I have here a lot of 10 microfarads and 35 volts. I will take a beefier one, and these capacitors are from Mauser and are for 105 degrees, so it will last for a really long time without any problems, I hope. This is a new Panasonic ones. It's simply standard, not a standard, but a good value, good quality part from Panasonic, and Panasonic makes a good capacitors. It's an aluminium electrolytic capacitor, common one. You have to use in some other places of this Jupiter 4 bipolar capacitors, but I will show you in the next videos why they need this kind of capacitors. This here is a polarized aluminium capacitor, and it's perfect for this purpose. So what we do, we just put it back here. See why I make this minus mark here, because I don't want to mix it up in the wrong polarization. Yeah, otherwise we will get in trouble. The same value, 10 microfarads, it's very important. You have to choose the same value of the capacitance, but with the voltage you can go a little bit higher. It's not a problem. It means only that it can handle 35 volts, and this one here can handle 16 volts. So if I go one more step, then it will, I hope so, last more than 40 years. Maybe not, I don't know. So we just put it back here and then solder it with 280 degrees. And like this. Really careful, the legs, I am repeating myself, I know, but the legs are really fragile. You have to be really careful. Use a good soldering iron and then you are good to go. So here we have the first capacitor. Cut the over length of the legs, and here we have it. So this is how it basically works. I will do the same with this ones here in the back one, and then I will come back and we will build this soundboard back in the Jupiter 4. So now, as you can see, I changed the capacitors here, and you see it's the same and really nice solder joints I have here now. The old capacitors I just removed here. Let me show you this one here. It has also leakage in one of these legs. So the best thing about this soundboards are that you need only 3 capacitors to change here. Good, then we will now clean this board slowly with my Contact LR PCB cleaner. And I have here some of these cleaners already. And I go here now like this and clean it. But before that, very important, take your gloves. You never know. Safety first. So now can continue here. This will also clean the flux residues from the manufacturing by Roland. It will be like newer, like new. And by the way, I don't get paid by companies like the Contact. I mean this, who sell this PCB cleaner. I bought it by myself, and I don't want to make any advertisement for them. But for me, it works perfectly. It cleans the board in a very good way. And after we clean this, we let it dry for a while, and we will put it back in the Jupiter 4 and try it. I hope it will work. But you never know, eh? Could be some damage here, but hopefully not. So now come back with my fresh cleaner. To slowly clean this board better than it was during manufacturing, in my opinion. So maybe here also this solvent here, or this stuff here, it really dries out without any residues. And what is also important, to clean the contacts here, because sometimes if they don't have good contact, your machine will not sound good. So that's it. So I will let it dry for a while and come back, and then we will build it back to the Jupiter 4. So here the board is now dry, almost dry, but look how new and shiny it looks. No residues anymore here, no flux residues. This is how it should look like. It's not completely dry, but anyway, we will put it back in the Jupiter. It's not a problem when it's a little bit wet, because this thing here is not conductive. So now all what we need to do is put this thing back, and you have to be really careful now, because there are 4 connectors underneath that we have to put back in the correct manner. So now I built it in. It was not so hard, so you have to be careful that all the connectors are come together. And now let's see what happens when we open this device or turn it on this device. So fingers crossed, guys. Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, 4 voices. And it is detuned now because you change the component. In the end we will tune it and calibrate it, but for the moment everything works good, and after the calibration it will sound again really nice. But this is how it sounds like when you change components. Then you have to tune it again or calibrate it again. This is the analog device, so this is completely normal. Like a honky tonk, huh? Good. So thank you for watching. This is the second part, and we will continue with our restoration process, and see you in the next video.